Today we're going to be doing these Aranyi bottles. So we're going to draw the bottle with a cork in it, then some mountains and trees, and then a pretty sky up here. Now I'm going to do this with Sharpie. You can start with pencil and then go over it with Sharpie afterwards. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw this lip of the bottle. Start at almost the top, give it a little bit of room for the cork. And you're going to draw a smile curve line. I'm going to draw a parallel line right under it. And a parallel line means the same exact line. And they don't touch. To complete the lip, you're just going to bring down, I do a little bit of a curve to connect these. To make it look like a cork is going through the lip, you're going to start on one end and make a diagonal line coming out on both sides. And again, I make my points curves instead of a point to make it look a little bit more realistic. You're just going to bring your line across to connect those. Now the bottom of the cork, you can't see it through the lid, so you're not going to draw it through there, okay? So you're going to draw an invisible line through here, and you're just going to draw a little tiny line on the bottom. Do the same thing. So draw an invisible line, a little tiny line on the bottom, and then connect the bottom. This will make it look like the cork is going through the lip. You can add some dots on one side of the cork. You can also add some lines in here to make it look more like a lip of a bottle. Now for the bottle, you're going to start by making two curved lines. So go in and then out. And this is the neck of the bottle. So you're going from one side, you're going in and then coming back out. For the bottle, you can do so many different shapes. It does not have to look like this. So some shapes for a bottle, after you draw the neck, you could just make it pretty skinny and going down. The only thing is you're going to want a curve smile line for the bottom. And that will make it look more realistic. Other ways you can do this is make it wide and have it kind of like a circle or a potion bottle. So you can choose whatever shape that you want your bottle to be. But make sure that you go all the way down almost to the bottom of your paper. So this one I'm going to bring out and then come back down. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Don't worry if they're not exactly the same, because you're never going to make them exactly the same. And then a curve connecting those two lines on the bottom. Now you're going to have your bottle shape. To make these mountains, you're going to start about halfway down your bottle. You don't want to start all the way on the top because then you won't have room for your pretty sky. So here you're just making wiggly triangles. I'm going to start at the side, go up to a point, and then I'm going to bring it back down. And see how my lines are just wiggly. They're not perfectly straight. The next mountain, I'm gonna start somewhere on this line. It doesn't have to be on the bottom. See how it goes all the way down? That means that this mountain will be in front of the other one. I would make all the mountains different sizes because no mountains are really exactly the same size next to each other. And the wiggly lines can be however you want them to be. And you'll go all the way to the side. Now to make the details on the mountains, like Jen Aranyi did, I'm just gonna use my skinny, thin, ultra thin marker. If you don't have one, you can still use this. And on one side of the mountain, you're just gonna go down to a point, come back up, and these are just how she makes her shadows. They don't have to look like mine. And then she makes lines inside there. Now these they don't have to have so many points. You can just make a wiggly line on the side of your mountain and then just make lines coming across. You can make more details just by doing some cracks in the mountains. Now the trees, the easiest way to do some of these trees, I'm using the regular Sharpie again, to put a line first. And then from this line, you're gonna bring your lines going down. This will make it look like a pine tree. All the way down to the bottom. On the opposite side, remember your lines are going down. It's like an arrow. And make these nice, have a lot of branches coming out. All of your trees can be different heights. So you're just doing a line, pretend you're doing an arrow. So your arrow will be at the top, and then just do more of those lines coming down on each side. Now, while you're waiting, there are a few things if you want to add on any details. I'm gonna put this here. And some of Jen Aranyi's little add-ons would be like putting a little tent in the landscape, a fire, some footprints maybe up the mountain, a path or a stream coming down. So you can do some add-ons. Here's some log seats. You can do a fishing pole, anything that you want little on the landscape. You can also, before we start our watercolors, you see how it looks like it's snowing with the white dots. Now, I did this by getting a white crayon and you have to press hard because when we do the watercolors, it will repel and not go over those white spots. So you might not be able to see this, but you're pushing hard and you're making little circles with your white crayon. If you don't have a white crayon, you can also use a light blue one if you want to do more snowflake looking designs. You can do that too. just by doing an X. It's kind of like a star. So I'm going to do some snowflake looking designs and then a lot of different dots with the white. Now you can also, on this one, I did a little squiggly line here, and that makes it look like the bottle is filled with liquid. If you want, you can do that squiggle line, or you can have the liquid or what's in the bottle go all the way up to the cork or the top of your bottle. So either way is fine. For the sky, we're gonna be picking some pretty blending colors. You're gonna need your watercolors, a cup of water, and a paper towel when you're switching colors. Now to get this to spread and blend together like this, you want to pick colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like yellow, green, and blue. They mix really well together. You can also pick like blue and purples, maybe put a hint of red in there. I'm gonna do some warmer colors on this one since there are cooler colors on here, and I'll leave this here for the people that are still drawing. Now with your water, I'm just gonna put down a little bit of water on my paper to make it spread a little bit better. And I'm gonna start with yellow because that is a very light color. And it's going to repel the white crayon and my blue. So put down your light color first. And then I'm gonna go back into it with some oranges and reds. You don't have to do these colors. Again, you can do greens and blues. So now I'm going to do an orange, and I'm just dipping my brush, swirling it around to activate the watercolor paint. And you can overlap these as long as you are using colors that are next to each other on the color wheel so they don't make brown. And be really careful not to get it on your mountains.